Time to take a coding break. Howdy, coding pros. This is your favorite coding coach, Tam Talk, here to talk about all things medical coding related, which will include the good, the bad, and the oh so ugly as it relates to the medical coding, and I will include compliance industry. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about on the subject. Actually, while I was on TikTok, and I came across a TikTok video as it relates to the income or the salary of medical coding professionals. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. And again, I know for a fact that I did a podcast episode as it relates to the salaries or the incomes of medical coding professionals. And I guess I'm going to talk about it again. And so because anyway. And before the TikTok video was not negative. It was just providing some insight as to what is really going on in the medical coding industry, and again, as it relates to the income or the salaries of coders. It talked about the differentiation as relates to the type of coder, like whether you are an inpatient or facility coder, or if you're a professional or profi coder. And so I did talk with you all about that and did share some insights from Google AI as it relates to the different salaries. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I provided a disclaimer that those salaries will vary depending on the organization and their budget. So perhaps the episode was not listened to or whatever, but long story short, I'm not even going to go too into detail about what was in that prior episode that I talked about the medical coding salary. But if you have time, please feel free to go and listen to that episode. It is also on YouTube. It's on TikTok. It's on all the podcast listening platforms for you to listen to it. So pretty much they were saying again that the income is not what has been, I guess, preached. And I'm not sure what incomes have been preached. Hold on, excuse me. I'm not sure what the incomes that have been preached. So I'm going to say let's say in a perfect economy, right? In a perfect economy, what are some of the things that an organization or a hiring coding manager may look at when determining the salary or the pay range for a coder? The number one thing is they're going to look at the certification. Are you certified? That's the first thing, right? That is the first thing. They're going to look, are you credentialed, right? And then also they're going to look at the job task. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a profi coder, or are you looking for a facility or an inpatient coder? Are you looking for an auditor? Are you just looking for someone to do some billing, right? So again, it's going to be based on the job task, okay? And then next, your years of experience. Do you have experience doing or performing the tasks that I want to hire you for, or that I'm looking for? So if you have the credential, you know what the job task is, and you have experience in that particular job task, then of course you can negotiate maybe a higher salary. And again, it depends on what that organization or that hiring coding manager is offering you, right? So these are things we have to look at. So we can't assume that once we become certified that we're just going to get paid like I'm saying I'm $60 out the gate, and I'm not saying that that's what they paid. I don't know. You're not going to get paid with the individual who has the credentials, the years of experience. You're not going to make the same thing that they make. Now unless you know something I don't know, and if you do, please let a girl know, because look, yeah. And you also may not make it again, and of course, if you're in leadership, whatever, you're going to make more, or you should be making more than a coder, right? So there are coders who I don't know, they get the certification and again they assume that they're going to be making the same salary or the same income as someone who's been coding for years. If this is your thought process, I'm going to tell you now you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're not going to be making the same income or the same salary as someone who's been credentialed, who has years of work experience, right? Doing coding, you're not going to make that same income. Again, if you know something, let a girl know. You know, as someone who's been in leadership, who's hired individuals, and also someone who's worked as like an employee, right, out of leadership. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so we have to look at that. So that this is the information I'm sharing, like, prior to, again, in a perfect economy, right? But fast forward to 2025, the economy is a little whack, jack, however you want to put it. Okay, so the incomes are going to definitely vary. You're not going to get what you want or you think you deserve. And the reason for that, I mean, just like you hear about other organizations, other industries having financial challenges, the same applies to healthcare. Healthcare is no different. This is why the shutdown, because they're trying to figure out some healthcare issues, right? Some healthcare challenges. So these healthcare organizations or the leaders are trying to keep healthcare operations going and try to utilize the humans, like the coders, because AI and technology is definitely infiltrating in all sectors of, I would say, in healthcare and all industries. So they're trying to, because they know they need coders, like real human coders as well. So they're trying to create a livable wage, a steady livable wage, also to keep the machine going, the healthcare going. Like, they have to pay the providers, the doctors, of course, and the nurses, and they have to pay people like us, the coders, right? The I would say the ancillary staff as well. So you may not get what you want. And I know there's people say, well, don't listen to their, but honestly, this is someone who literally works in healthcare. Like, yeah, this is true. You have to, and then again, you have to base it on the job task that is being asked of you, right? And I shared, and I did comment on the video that I took a pay cut. Like, I literally took a pay cut, and I took a pay cut, and they did give me time to think about it, to like contemplate on it, and before I made the decision to accept it. And the reason why I took the pay cut is because, one, the job that they're asking me to do is not the job in which I was doing when I was making big bucks, right? I don't have to stay late. I don't have to come in early. I don't have to make major decisions when it comes to my role, right? So again, I look at all those things. What is required of me? What are you asking me to do? What are you asking me to think about? What's all involved? And so what am I going to get? Make a pros and cons list on what you will be willing to do or accept, and what you won't be willing to do or accept. That's okay. That's on you. No, I don't think the organization or the leadership or the hiring person or HR is twisting your arm, forcing you to take the role. It's, again, you have that free will to take the role, just like they have that free will not to select you as an applicant, right? So, again, look at what's being asked of you. What are they asking you to do? What task are they asking you to perform? Do you know if it's worth the money that they're offering? And I would say, if you're new to coding, you may not know what the role encompasses, right? Because you're new, so you think it's coding, and you think, someone else is making money, someone who experience is making money, so you feel like you should make that same amount, but it doesn't work like that. again, look at the tasks. Like, there's various tasks that you can do. You don't just have to be a coder doing coding. There, you can be an auditor. You can be working in a specific specialty, because coders in certain specialties do make more money than that of a coder in a different another specialty. An auditor may make more money than someone just coding, day-to-day coding. Of course, someone in leadership is going to make more money than someone who's not. That's just, I mean, that's like I said, that's even in a perfect economy. Leadership is going to make more money than a day-to-day coder. Are you getting benefits, right? And benefits as in like insurance. Are you getting like access to retirement plans? Are you getting like vacation time, sick time? All those things play into part. Are you able to get overtime? If they offer overtime, well, you're probably not getting that. But what are some of the other benefits that you can glean from your role or with this company? If you're not getting that, or if it doesn't equate to what your goals are, then again, that may not be a good fit for you. So that whole fit for, are you a good fit? Though these are the type of questions you need to be asking yourself as it pertains or as it relates to the role, the medical coding role that you're seeking or you're pursuing. Now, there are some nurses who are leaving bedside to become coders. They're transitioning into more of the business administrative side or the compliance side of healthcare. And so, of course, they're going to make money because they're bringing clinical experience. They're bringing bedside experience. They're bringing all those things that, say, someone who may be coming from, I'm going to say Walmart, right? That person, they have experience, but don't have that particular healthcare experience, right? As a nurse has, or again, a coder who has years of experience in coding. So these are things you have to consider when you're pursuing a medical coding role. And again, and so on top of all those things, you have to consider the economy. Like, is it going to be a livable wage? Are you going to be able to pay your household bills, right? Are you going to be able to eat? Are you going to be able to, or just I won't say survive. Well, to survive. If you're able to survive, and it's not going to require you to do a whole lot of work, that may be a decent role. And let me tell you, so when I accepted the role, the one where they, I took a pay cut and I had time to think about it. I did my pros and cons list and everything. And again, I'm basing this on my experience, and then because I worked in various roles with my medical coding certification. But so yes, it was a lower amount, but I took that amount because it was a livable wage. But check this out. So when maybe a 3-month time, I got a raise. Well, not 3 months, but the time anyway. When it was time for evaluation, I got a raise, right? And so, and the raise kind of brought me back. Not all the way back, but it did bring me back a little bit to what I was making. So, and again, I'm still performing the same tasks that they had hired me to do. So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes you never know. You never know what's down the line. You never know what's in the future. You may get a stellar evaluation, or you may, the hiring person may know that the pay that they offer you was low, but again, they're basing it on their budget, they're basing it on the economy or whatever, and then it depending on how that budget turns out, or when it's time for your evaluation, they may give you a raise, a really good raise. So so it looks bleak now, but stay strong. Like, and the question is, did you get into coding because you thought it was a quick buck, or are you genuinely interested in doing medical coding? So if that's the case, then find a job that fits the coding that you want to do, and again, the income will follow. And then also, I will also encourage individuals to learn how to budget. Like, when you do secure role or you do have an income coming in, learn how to budget your income, right? And I would tell anyone in and outside of the medical coding industry to learn how to manage their income, because you never know. You just never know, that's all I got. I mean, you just never know. So again, certain factors to consider is going to be your certification, your years of experience, the type of task or the role that you're being asked to perform or you're searching for. And then also take into consideration the economy. So those are things that you have to think about when you're going after these jobs, these medical coding jobs. So yeah, and I think a lot of times individuals, when they become newly certified, they assume that they're just going to be out the gate making big bucks and things like that. No. I hate to break it to you. No. So yeah, so think upon those things and then consider those things when you're applying for medical coding roles or just jobs in general. And then again, are you the perfect fit? Does that job, that task, whatever, does that align with you? Are you a good fit? Or is that organization a good fit for you? Like I said, the organization has the free will to determine if you're a good fit for their team, their coding team, their organization. You have the same free will. Is the coding department a good fit for you and your goals? If not, carry on. So that's all that I have for this coding break. So again, until next time, code on.